Okay. So welcome to your first lesson in this Python Fundamentals course. In this lesson, we are going to set up your computer so you're able to follow along with me. Or in easier words, so you're able to learn Python, right? So the first thing to do is go ahead and open your favorite browser and search for Python. Now open the downloads link and click the download button. That should do the work. The current version for Python is 3.12.2, but that doesn't matter because the installation process is exactly the same for all versions. So as you can see, the download was very fast, but that depends on your internet. So the next thing to do is to download our IDE. An IDE is a program where you can write code. So just go ahead, open a new tab and search for VS Code. There you got Visual Studio Code. And it should automatically detect which version or which operating system you're currently on. So just go ahead and download that. Once we have downloaded both of these things, we are going to open up the Finder or Windows Explorer, whatever operating system you are in, and go ahead to your downloads folder, and there we got them. The first thing that we are going to install is Python. For that, just double click the package that we just downloaded, and the installation process is exactly the same for Windows, Mac and Linux, so don't be afraid because it's basically just hitting continue. Continue, accept licenses, and just hit install. Put in your password, and this might take a while. Python has been successfully installed. We can see that right here, but this folder is not going to appear if you are on another operating system. So we just now want to prove that Python is actually installed on our machine. To do that, we are going to launch our terminal. In my case, it's my custom terminal, but for you, it should be the normal here, the terminal here. If you're on Windows, just open the command prompt and type in Python 3 -- version. Hit enter, and then your current version or the version that you just have installed should appear here. If that's the case, then you have successfully installed Python. If you do not get this, then you should probably go ahead and download it again or try to reinstall Python. Mostly that's not the case, it works, and yeah. For Windows, just press Windows and R and type in cmd. Hit enter. Now your command prompt should appear on screen, and type in Python -- version. You do not need the Python, the number 3. Hit enter, and there you go, you got the same message. Okay, so the next step is to install the IDE that we just downloaded. In our case, it's Visual Studio Code. You can use any other IDE, but I recommend to use Visual Studio Code. For that, open your downloads folder and double click the file that we downloaded. It should automatically extract the Visual Studio Code application. Now you can drag and drop this to your applications folder. I recommend doing this because then you can open this from Spotlight or from your Launchpad, but I will not, because it would override my settings and it would not be great. But for you, I recommend doing this. Okay, so let me introduce you to our IDE or Visual Studio Code IDE. This is the place where we are going to write down code in the next lessons. We got here our primary section where our code is going to be appearing. Then we got the navigation bar. The first thing that appears here is the Explorer, where we can open folders or single files so we can edit them or just write code inside of them. Then we got the search section, where we can search for content inside the files that we have opened with Visual Studio Code. Then we got the debugger. That's the place where we are going to run our code, the code that we write. And last but not least, the extensions browser that we are going to use right now to install some extensions to be able to run our Python code from the Visual Studio Code. Because opening the terminal every time that we want to test our code is a mess. We want life to be easy. We want to be able to run our Python code from our IDE. And I mean, that's going to save us a lot of time. So search for Python here. The first extension that appears should be from Microsoft. Click there and install there. I already have that, so I do not have to install this, but there should be an install button. The second one is the Python debugger, also from Microsoft. Go ahead and install that too. The last extension that we are going to install is Python Indent by Kevin Rose. This extension is going to allow us to indent our Python code, or in other words, to format our Python code in a specific way, so there are no problems or issues when it comes to run the code or execute the code. If you were able to follow along with me until this point, then congratulations! You successfully completed the first lesson of this course, and I hope to see you in the next one.